Hey guys, welcome to this new session. In this session, we will be looking into the Okun's law. We will be looking at Okun's law. We need to know that Okun's law was developed for US economy. That is the first fact that we need to keep in our mind. It was an empirical study. Empirical study, that means that the study was based on data sets. Okay, it was not just a theory, but it was based on some empirical data for US economy, and the data was regarding unemployment and GDP growth rate. So he tried to analyze the unemployment and the GDP growth rate in the US economy, and he came up with a formula, and he termed the formula as minus ut minus 1 is equal to minus 0.4. Then he write gyt minus 3%. So this was the data that he coined for US economy. He said ut is the unemployment rate which used to persist at time period t, and ut minus 1 was unemployment which persisted in the previous time period, and it was equal to minus 0.4 times the actual growth rate at time period t minus 3%. The 3% is nothing but the potential GDP. And actually it helped the developed economies to bring certain relation between unemployment and GDP growth, and it was later generalized. So generalized formula that later on developed was ut minus 1 is equal to minus beta. This was gyt minus gyt bar. So this is in particular to any economy which will have its own potential GDP growth rate and unemployment rate. So it is possible to achieve an unemployment rate corresponding to the growth rate or vice versa, because they were linearly dependent and there were no other factors, and it was empirically proven. So empirically it became important in understanding and analysis during that point in time, and this was called the Okun's law. And in closer to it, we can also look into the sacrifice ratio. Sacrifice ratio is defined as how much percentage of GDP we have to sacrifice to get the percentage fall in inflation. So if we want to reduce inflation by, let's say, 1%, how much amount of GDP we will have to sacrifice? Because when you will have to reduce inflation, how you can reduce inflation? You can reduce inflation by employing lesser person. So when you try to reduce inflation, you will promote unemployment. When you will promote unemployment, it will lead to lesser output. And I think most of you would be wondering how I am writing about it. Actually I am writing about this flow, that unemployment and lesser output, using Phillips curve. Okay, I am utilizing Phillips curve here to draw this analogy, that 1% fall in inflation. You can very well look from this diagram also. Phillips curve we draw like this. Here the classical Phillips curve that was given by Samuelson. Here it is inflation and it is unemployment. Okay, so it is like this. So it is possible, if we want to reduce inflation, let's say initially inflation was at this one and unemployment was this. If we want to reduce inflation from pi 1 to pi 2, we have to increase unemployment from u2, and this rise in unemployment will also be reflected in reduced output. Okay, so there's a relation between Okun's law and sacrifice ratio and Phillips curve. So this we can analyze from this particular series. I hope you got some insight into it. If you have any suggestion for me, or if you want to ask something about it, you can very well put the question on the comment section. We will respond to you. Thank you.